So this will be my intro since I didn't record one on launch. Out here at Mitch's Ridge today, we actually have clouds in El Paso. They're high altitude clouds though. And winds were forecast to be like 12 miles an hour. That's probably what it feels like, maybe stronger in the gust. But it's good. Had a pretty strong wind launch. I'm joined out here with two other pilots, Nelson's Wings and a new guy named Chris. This is his first time to come here. And he's soaring right over here. I'll try and get him in the shot. There he is. He's on a Gradient Golden 5, 26 meter. He's soaring pretty easy, staying up easy. The air today is a little weird. It's like a few bumps. It's like the air is mixing, but it's nothing to cause collapses or anything. You feel it, you know. Makes you a little nervous sometimes, but it's fine. Forecast said that the winds are gonna die down, you know, towards sunset, so I'm not too worried about it picking up and getting stronger. Nelson's Wings will launch next, and then we'll all soar until sunset out here at Mitch's Ridge. After this, I'll put in the clips of the collapses that I just did. I did a couple collapses on this wing. I've only done it one other time, and that time I did it, it was like really aggressive feeling for a high B, in my opinion. Although it didn't turn at all, and it reinflated very quickly. And today, kind of the same thing. But I figured if you make the wing collapse slowly and then release it, it doesn't shoot out aggressive. But if you bang a real hard collapse with this wing, then it wants to shoot out really aggressive. Here, let's see if I can do one for you. I don't know if you can see it. Not bad. Pretty fun. I like doing that. Experimenting. His wing is a Gradient Golden 5. The second paraglider I ever flew was a Gradient Aspen 2. I think it was like from 2008. That was the first paraglider, or second paraglider I ever flew. And it was a B wing. Probably not by today's standards. It's probably more like a C. But that wing taught me a lot. I flew it, probably my first 50 hours of paramotor time was on that wing. And I enjoyed it. You know, I didn't know any better. Before that, I had only flown a Skywalk Tonic, which was an A class wing, and I did very few flights, mostly just kiting that wing. And then I got the Gradient Aspen 2, and I did like my first 50 hours of paramotor time on that wing. So, you know, I learned to take off. I learned to land with that wing. I got it really cheap because, you know, I didn't want to dump 10 grand into this sport if I didn't know if I was gonna like it or continue to do it or not. But looking back, man, I wish I just would have bought a brand new Universal and just learned so much on that wing, because it would have made my first 50 hours of flying much more easy and enjoyable. You know, it would have made my takeoffs and landings easier, would have gave me more speed, more range to go places. You know, I was kind of, the wing I was on was a free fly wing, so I was stuck. You know, I would take off and just boat around the LZ. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially your first 50 hours of flight or so. It's actually a good thing to do. Knowing what I know now, I would have just bought a Dudek Universal brand new and, you know, put 150, 200 hours on that wing. Got really good with it, and stuff, a lot of people tend to skip the intermediate wings in paramotors, and I don't think they should. And instead of, you know, getting all hyped up on the latest and greatest, hottest wing, you should look at what you're trying to gain by moving up to your next wing. Is it efficiency? Probably not, because most people don't fill their tanks up all the way anyway, you know. So unless you're filling your tank up all the way and running out of gas still, do you really need a more efficient wing? Okay, is it handling or maneuverability? Well, you can get that. You can get really crisp, sharp handling in an intermediate wing, especially if you load it up and you still keep some of the passive safety. The really hot wings, the only advantage they give over an intermediate wing is that they require less RPM to stay straight and level flight at the higher speeds. Meaning if you trim out all the way on your intermediate wing and you're full throttle on your motor and you still like can't maintain altitude, then it's time to kind of step it up to the higher level wings if you're ready. You've seen my videos of me flying paramotors, and that's the reason I stepped up. My first really hot wing was a Hadron XX, and I did that because on my ITV Billy, when I was full throttle, I mean when I was fully trimmed out, full speed bar, I couldn't maintain altitude even with full throttle with the motor that I had, because the wing just wasn't efficient enough at flying fast. That's why I upgraded to the next level, but only once I was ready. If you're not using the full speed range of your current intermediate wing, why do you want to upgrade, you know? If you want more handling and better maneuverability, you can just downsize on your current intermediate wing. Let's say you're flying a 22 meter Nucleon XX, you can just get a 20 meter Nucleon XX. You keep the same near passive safety, same controls, but your brake travel, you know, before you would pull 4 inches to get a good turn, now you're only going to pull 2 inches to get the same amount of turn. Wing loading, the heavier you are on your wing, plays a much bigger role in the handling than the design of the wing. If you fly a at my weight, you know, 150 pounds, if I fly a 22 meter Hadron XX, it flies boaty. It flies like me on the Universal. It doesn't have crisp, sharp handling, you know, like my 16 meter Warp does, because I'm so lightly loaded on it. Glad everybody made it out today. Oh, I just a little tip fluttered for a second. Oh, I might have hit his wake, that's why. Hey, you did it first try, it looks like. You brought it up, got plugged, and then flew the wing. No way, there's a balloon out here. Ah, I can't get it. It's gonna go right over my wing. Yeah, like a birthday balloon just went right over me. Bye-bye, balloon. So once I started using speed bar on the Hadron XX, you know, it taught me a lot, but I wanted more speed range in the bar. So Dudek's system is called the Power Attack system. What it does is, when you have Power Attack enabled, different wings enable it different ways. You'll have to read your manual, but basically it's like your trims are all the way in, right? You're flying normal. But when you push on the bar, it releases your trims and pulls the speed bar at the same time. So you get double the speed range in the speed bar compared to just a regular paraglider. You only get half the speed range in the speed bar and then half in the trims. So I learned to use the speed bar a whole lot with the Hadron XX, and using it to control the pitch surges and how to manipulate it the right way safely. And then the reason I switched to the Snake was because the Snake has a power attack from the factory and the Hadron XX wing doesn't. Later on I did buy the power attack system for the Hadron X, and you can do that. But I didn't. The Hadron XX. The Hadron XX doesn't feel like it has as much reflex in it as the Snake XX when you're flying full speed. So I had more confidence in the Snake XX flying at full speed using power attack than I did on the Hadron XX. And same thing with the warp. The warp is excellent at full speed. It's like the Snake, but on steroids. Is the best way to explain it. Yeah, the past couple days I've just been sitting on the couch looking at the forecast. So what's next? Wing-wise for me? Well, I got Michael Mixer is gonna send me a 17-meter Adventure Crossfire that I'm gonna get to test out. Look forward to that. I'll do it after I get some hours on it, flights on it. You know, I'll do my typical review and testing with it. So that's exciting. That's upcoming. I'm gonna put my helmet back on. Go land down there by the cars. It's a good day. Wind is too light. It's like dead. And too much from the south. What's up?
Man, this side is fucking excellent.
It's good, man, I'm telling you. And today was a bumpy day.
I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night.
Yeah.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.